Good morning. It's my pleasure today to introduce Piotr Nowacki, who's a Senior Director, Head of Order to Cash for Smith Nephew. So, good morning, Piotr.
Thank you, Mark. It's great to be here and yeah, excited to chat.
And thanks for joining us. So, let's kick off then. How long has your company been involved with the Callisto Academy?
I think we connected, Mark, actually on the back end of last year, and we've just started with the academy this year. So we're kind of well advanced now, and slowly I think approaching the the certification stage on foundation and advanced course.
Yeah, your guys are moving nicely through the courses. Um, so what problem in the sort of credit order to cash world made you realize that something like Calli or the Callisto Academy kind of had to exist?
I think it's two things, right? One is it's a fairly, I would say, still a niche topic, right? So in terms of when you think about accounting, the topics tend to be fairly broad. But if you want to have that kind of very specific O2C and credit knowledge, I think that there's that was a gap that we found in our company, and connecting with yourselves, right? Just being able to draw on this, absolute kind of wealth of tribal knowledge and industry insiders and practitioners over years and years. And that's exactly kind of what we are looking for, and just to make sure that we can provide a kind of development plan for our employees that's very specific to the kind of roles that they have.
Hmm. Yeah, there is. You're right, and that's kind of why we started doing what we're doing. Because from my own personal experience, when I was sort of doing your job, um, looking for partners to help me train my people, kind of realized there really wasn't, particularly in Central European shared services. So ultimately, I end up kind of sort of doing it myself. That was the genesis of Callisto, really. So there's these days there's a lot of noise around AI, and what do you think makes Calli and Callisto sort of generally different from other generic AI tools?
I would say, Mark, as maybe alluded to previously, right? But it's the context that Kali can draw from, right? I don't think there's anything else on the market where you have this kind of wealth of knowledge. And then in terms of Kali itself and kind of bringing the AI, it's we kind of have to meet, I think, the expectations of the employees, right? I think the world is moving fast. They want the answers to their queries kind of at their fingertips.
Hmm.
So I think the landscape is kind of shifting a little bit, right? Where we can no longer expect them to sift through hours of content, right? They kind of want their answers here and now, right? So
Yes.
that's certainly the demand that we need to meet. And then in terms of Kali, again, it's the context that it draws from. That's the strength, right? So you're able to get answers to your questions, and then it kind of links it back to the content it draws those answers from, right? So I think it's kind of our responsibility. Use of AI is great, but it's kind of our responsibility to validate where that is coming from, and that's another advantage, right? Where you can like straight away see, okay, this is the content that it draws the answers from. So you kind of have that confidence that the answers that you're getting that you're getting are kind of verified, and you know exactly where that's coming from. So I would say those are kind of the differentiating factors that I see.
I'm glad you raised that point because that was one of the things we kind of majored on in the development was the inquirers being able to see where the answers are coming from. So directly you can click on the article or the video and actually see the source, and then and then read the whole article if you want, not just the extract that's been taken to provide the answer. Um, so going forward then, and we're talking about sort of precision upskilling. I think we kind of covered it a little bit just then. Um, but as from your position as a leader, how do you see the benefits of this precision upskilling that we're offering?
So I think first of all, precision upskilling, right? It's about being kind of targeted and tailored, right? So we kind of have to zoom in on what are the actual requirements of each role, where is the focus, right? So we kind of layer that on, right, the specific skills, but then also the kind of extra layers that Calli then brings is we can then put it in within, for example, the context of geography or industry, right? So you kind of you first have the kind of the knowledge piece, and then you kind of layer it on that context, right? And then altogether that starts to make it kind of very specific and very tangible to the exact context that the employees operate in, right? So that's kind of what I see as that precision upskilling piece. And
Mhm.
it's absolutely important, right? Because what it means for me as a leader, right, is we start to shift employees as kind of from doing their current roles to start to shift them quite drastically towards being that business partner, right? Because you understand the wider context, and you can make much better informed decisions, right, at the end of the day, and provide that extra value to the business.
It is exactly that, yeah. Because I've always thought the joy of what we do in our area, our credit O2C profession, is exactly that. Not just working within the confines of a silo, but understanding the full impact of what it is that you're doing, whatever that job, whether it's collections or cash application, credit risk, and that's really where the enjoyment come, and that is add value to yourself as an individual, but then that naturally then just follows um, through to the business because it equates to things like retention, which is important. If you really want to build a solid team, you've got to have retention. This 20% attrition rate is, yeah, you can't build anything with that kind of turnover.
Exactly, 100% agree.
Okay. So you were delighted to say you were with us a couple of weeks ago at the conference in Budapest, Credit Matters 14, where we launched Calli kind of live, which was a pretty nerve-wracking moment for us or myself on the stage. What was your kind of opinion, your view, and indeed the people around you? Did anything surprise you?
So full disclosure, I think, right, when we started to cooperate, you gave us a kind of early glimpse into what was on the roadmap, right? As far as the launch, I had kind of no idea on what the kind of time frame was. So I'm still kind of surprised that you were able to bring it to life so fast. Um, did anything surprise me? I think it was just kind of great to see it live, right? It wasn't kind of, hey, an announcement, we have this. It was great to actually see that live, right? Nerve-wracking, right? Because you're kind of doing it live, right?
Yeah,
Entering the questions, and then just hoping that you're gonna that
make
that it's all gonna
technical
work. So
hiccups. Yeah.
exactly. So for me, it was surprising and quite brave, right? That it wasn't a control demo. This was actually a very much, this is how it works. We're just entering questions on the fly and getting the answers. So that it was great to see, and it seems that it's here, right?
It's
So
here.
that's yeah, well
Very
done.
soon now, just a couple more weeks, a little bit of fine tuning, and then we're good to go. Looking ahead then to the next 2 to 3 years, how do you think AI and agentic knowledge platforms will change the future of our profession, credit auditor, cash, and indeed perhaps others as well?
Yes, I think in terms of the AI in the knowledge platforms, kind of as I mentioned, right? I think people want that information here and now. So, right, either I think learning platforms adopt to that or get left behind. So that's I think one aspect. And then in terms of how it changes the future of O2C and credit management, um, I think if kind of used correctly, right, and we drive its use, then with that layered context, I think, as I mentioned, I think we're gonna kind of start to see that shift more towards kind of business partnering and really, opening up those insights and capabilities in our employees. at a much faster rate than traditional methods. So I do think it's very kind of exciting and you know I also kind of think it's there's a lot of hype, right? But to me, it's in some ways it is justified, right? I think if you adopt it in the right way, the capability and the potential really is there, right? To change the way we work for sure.
And that, as we were saying just now about the joy of the job, a lot of it is based on curiosity and being able to satisfy that curiosity. It's something we kind of stress all the time. Be curious, don't just accept somebody else's word for it. If you hear something in a town hall meeting, go and check it out. We're talking about working capital or whatever it is you're talking about. I know often people just let that go in and go out and don't do anything with it. Now you can say, what is this working capital they're talking about? And get an answer.
Exactly, and it's so funny that you should say that because I think that's kind of been my mantra, right? You kind of where I started, and it was just exactly what you say. You hear something you maybe not familiar with, right? You go and research, and now you have a tool that will make it so much easier. So yeah, no, excited.
Good stuff. Okay. And then finally, the final question is somebody watching wants to learn more about Callisto and get involved in the community, which is another aspect of what we're doing, building this global community through all our partners. What should they do next?
Um, That's maybe a bit of a question to you, Mark, but I would assume, right? Reach out, connect, and if I think we can just get started, right? And get some demos, see what this is all about, and become part of the journey.
Yeah, and also because a key part of what we're doing is to build this network is not just to take our word for it, but to talk to the likes of yourself and other early adopters into this project and share your experiences as well.
Exactly. I think we haven't really talked about that too much, but a very important part of what you do is the networking aspect, right? Kind of connecting us together. So, guys, if you want to hear about what we've been doing, right, reach out to me as well. I'm happy to connect.
Brilliant. Uh, Piotr, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you and sharing your experience of working with us so far, and we're looking forward to a long and prosperous relationship. So, Piotr, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you so much, Mark.